There's some of the junglers that are easier to play against than there's Dominate. Dominate definitely is a strong jungler because of his experience.
I think I just have more of like a killer instinct. I like to go for more aggressive plays, and he's got more of like a controlled play style.
We know how each other plays, and therefore it's like a big mind game. You have 1 week to prepare for this, so you have to like definitely put a lot of time into it.
I think it's going to be a really strategic game. I don't think it's going to be a bloodbath. Can we beat a solid strategical team instead of just beating all these teams through brute force?
Welcome back to the 2015 North American Summer Split. We've got our game of the week coming your way, but first we wanted to remind you guys that it's Team Up Week, where you and the community earn points by playing League of Legends with friends. Now, the more points you earn, the more rewards you unlock. So far, we've already unlocked IP boosts, in-game sales, and a pool party icon. And we're getting close to seeing luau-ready minions on the Rift. If the community racks up enough points, the upcoming Pool Party Mundo skin will be unlocked for everyone who participated during Team Up Week when Patch 5.12 goes live. For more information on how to join in on the summer fun, check out leagueoflegends.com. Next, we're going to check on how you've been answering our question of the day. Now, earlier we asked you which coach in the NA LCS has the toughest job and why. And here's what you've been saying. @VersusStylesLol says, I think Loco Doco has the toughest job since the expectations put on his shoulder as TSM coach weigh very heavy.
Yeah, and especially after MSI, where expectations weren't really met for a lot of TSM fans, there's a lot of kind of explaining to do and things people want to see done with that roster. And Loco Doco, he said before, he wants to add more trophies to that trophy case. So the expectation's high, he has to meet them. Yeah, reestablishing those expectations, hoping to meet them this time around. Next up, we have @Mr. Williams, who writes, I think history teacher has the toughest job as a coach. He has to teach them league and world history. Yeah, teaching two subjects can't be easy, I have to imagine. And then lastly, @Thomas tweets, Brad from Enemy. He has to work around his friendship with Inox and tame the wild flares in the top lane. Yeah, there's always a thin line that you have to kind of ride as a coach where you're like, I'm friends with these guys, but I have credibility, I have authority over what happens. So that's always a very interesting line. And when you have a friendship with somebody on the team, I love seeing how that plays out and the fact that they kind of empower each other, where Inox is like, hey, I'm a great player. Brad might not be as great of a player as me, but I give him my trust, so everybody trusts him. Yeah, it's also interesting, too, just in the League of Legends and the esports scene, the age difference between coach and player can always play a role in making it difficult to establish authority. Yeah, and you have to establish credibility over people who you're not as good of a player as they are. Right. So you're like, some people will be like, why are you telling me to play this champion? You're not challenger. What are you doing over here? Get out, Plat Scrub, right? Like, that's the thing, is you have to kind of shelve that to the side and be like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, he's analyzed these things, and he knows what he's doing. So I love seeing that trust. The hurdles to overcome as a coach. Well, thank you to everyone who wrote in, or if you're still looking to join the conversation, tweet @LolEsports and use the hashtag LCS. Switching gears for just a minute, though, there's always a learning curve with new champions, and for Bard, it can be steeper than most. Lustboy explains that the Wandering Caretaker is a powerful pick if you can master him.
일단 바드가 통통하고 이렇게 뒤뚱뒤뚱 아니고 귀엽고 말도 안 하고 쓰레쉬 같은 경우에는 뭐 랜턴을 잘 던지면 우리 팀을 무조건 살릴 수 있다, 아니면 궁극기를 잘 쓰면 우리 팀을 무조건 도와줄 수 있다, 그런 식이 있는데 바드는 조건이 굉장히 많이 붙는 서포터예요. Q를 상대방한테 맞추더라도 상대방 뒤에 지형이나 상대방 저기 또 하나 있지 않으면 무조건 스턴이 맞지 않고, 일단 매지컬 저니가 우리 팬도 도와주고 상대 팬도 도와줄 수 있는 스킬이기 때문에 솔로 랭크 같은 데 썼을 때 되게 재밌는 상황이 많이 나와서.
CLG collapses nicely on the fight and the journey across. It's going to be a four-man journey.
궁극기로 되게 쓰기 어려운 스킬이고요. 일단 바드 궁극기가 안 좋게 나올 경우는 보통 수비적으로 썼을 때 안 좋게 나올 가능성이 굉장히 높거든요. 조건이 굉장히 맞는 붙는 서포터이기 때문에 되게 혼란스러워요.
Nice play on the Lustboy. Watch him, a magical journey to escape. Oh, Deft, he's taking a magical journey too, and it's going to be a journey to the death for Lustboy. Maybe. Oh, makes it out.
서로 정신없이 5대5 10명이나 한타에 있잖아요. 10명이나 한타에 있는데 서로 탱커를 죽이고 있을 때 몰래 바드가 궁을 상대방 백라인한테 써서 상대방 백라인을 2.5초 동안 데미지를 못 넣게 하고 우리는 탱커를 먼저 죽이고
This specific Bard ult, stopping double of NX Smithy while the tanks are in the turret. Save TSM and then watch for the Cosmic Binding.
There it is, the flash Cosmic Binding onto the 2 priority targets.
플레이 컨트롤에 따라서 되게 많이 그 효율이 달라지는 챔피언인데 그 효율을 잘 살리면 바드가 굉장히 좋은 챔피언이라 생각하고 그렇게 믿고 있기 때문에 바드를 플레이했습니다.
Bard making things happen.
Yeah, we'll best sound effects ever.
Feature.
And we'll see if Bard can make things happen again. Either way, ganking the caster desk with us for a special TriCast is Sam, Kobe, Hartman, Kensler. Welcome to the desk, man. Ready to cast League of Legends?
Long time no see.
Yeah, man, it's been like since this morning when we saw each other for read-through and stuff. Either way, we're gearing up for our game of the week between Team Liquid and Team SoloMid. This is an important opportunity for TSM to show their dominance after a surprisingly tough game against 10th place TDK last week.
Yeah, and believe it or not, with TSM sitting at 4-2, they're one of the best teams in the league in the early game. In all 6 games this split, TSM's had a goal lead at the 10-minute mark and at the 20-minute mark. But then, as they move into the late game, there's a lot of sloppiness and individual mistakes going on, which has cost them those 2 losses.
So TSM have been trying to put more of an emphasis on Dyrus so far throughout this split, and that's actually going to be an interesting test up against Quas, who's a really hot top laner as well.
Definitely true. While obviously Bjergsen remains an integral part of the team, they have started to invest in their top laner, Dyrus, and it's already started to pay off as well. Dyrus is one of only 2 top laners to deal more damage than his team's AD carry in the North American LCS, and he even had the most damage of his entire team, including Bjergsen, in their game against TDK. You know, that being said, Quast is a monster. He has a higher kill participation and higher kill share than any other top laner in the North American LCS. And Team Liquid, as a whole, have really come together, and they're feeling much more confident, and they've got their sights set on Worlds as well.
Now, that's going to be a tough road for TSM if they can get their way up there. Now, meanwhile, Dominate says some of their success is due to a mental shift in how their team approaches playing on the stage.
Before we'd win most of our scrims and then come to LCS and then just like play completely different. But now I think we play more aggressive at LCS. Like we're willing to fight. Like we'll go a tip and we'll just be dying all over the place. Like they'll be dying. Like it'll just be a bloodbath, which I actually think is a more effective strategy for us. Just like if we can make the games bloody, I think that benefits us because we've got some good mechanical players on our team. And like I trust that if I hit like good ultimates and team fights, people are gonna follow up and kill whoever I ult.
Confirmed, they have robots, mechanical players on Team Liquid. They're cheating.
What's interesting is we had the pregame tease where Dominate said, I think it's going to be a really strategic game this time around. And then we were like, yeah, we're going to play really aggressive and everyone's going to die. And I don't know which one it's going to be, but both bases are now covered. Dominate, it's going to be one of the 2. Let's check out the starting lineups on the blue side. Team Liquid. Quas up in the top lane. I will dominate in the jungle. Phoenix in mid. Piglet on AD carry. And Xpecial on support.
Yeah, I think they can go both ways. They're aggressive against a strategic team. On the red side, it's Team SoloMid. With Dyrus in the top lane, Santorin in the jungle, Bjergsen in mid lane, Wild Turtle on AD carry, and Lustboy on support.
Man, I am really excited for the jungle matchup with how outspoken Dominate has been about how he's one of the aggressive junglers, and he's one of the ones that wants to make early action, whereas Santorin's gotten a lot of flack from the community for being the farm-heavy jungler, being the safer jungler, and I really want to see if Dominate's early style can work out, because if you're unsuccessful in those early ganks, as we saw, you get fairly far behind early on.
Yeah, and both teams' coaches have the support for their junglers, obviously. Peter, before the day, said that I will dominate, best jungler in North America. Locodoco said Santorin was heavily underrated as well. Maybe we'll find out a little bit of that.
We will.
This game will decide it all indefinitely.
One game, this is it.
We're already picking the MVP. One of the 2 junglers, whoever wins this game, whoever gets first blood, we're locked in the vote.
Just kidding, by the way. All right, so bans coming off the bat. One jungler is up there. Nidalee already taken out for Santorin, one of his favorites.
Dominate's Echo goes away as well. So right now, Team Liquid getting rid of a lot of the team fight powers here and a lot of the early pressure that Santorin might put on. So I think maybe Rek'Sai first pick could be a possibility if they are pitching junglers.
Definitely looking to be the case. 3 jungle bans already.
Although, I Will Dominate definitely has had some good Sejuani games. Well, one good Sejuani game, but he's had them more in the past as well. So, if they pinch junglers, there's actually not that great of a delta between, I feel like. I will dominate's Rek'Sai and his Sejuani. But we'll have to see. Rek'Sai would be a nice pick, but I don't know if it's priority here. Alistar is still up. There's plenty of stuff.
It is interesting because you can sort of force a team play style if you force the enemy team into a certain jungler pick as well. And that could be more of an overall strategy coming into it. So definitely curious here what the first pick is going to be, because top lane, the main two, Ryze and Hecarim, are off the table.
All right. Now the rush pick onto the Kalista. So the Alistar still left up, the Nautilus still left up. It seems like the tier list says those two are close enough together. In Team Liquid's mind, it's all about Piglet getting a strong lane, letting him abuse a 2-on-2 against a traditionally weaker Wild Turtle and Lustboy.
Yeah, and in 2 games this year on Kalista, Piglet is 20 kills and 1 death.
Oh,
so
man.
he's been rather effective on Kalista, but of course you're trading the power picks right here. They are choosing Kalista for Piglet, but of course they give TSM a lot of control and tankiness there with the 2 picks.
Wow, yeah, those are 2 really top-tier champions. It is worth noting, you talked about his Sejuani play. 5.11 is the patch that actually had the Sejuani nerf in it. The W was a tooltip change, but not a gameplay change, so actually a significant amount of Sejuani damage is off if he wants to go for it.
I'm seeing a lot of possible roams mid for TSM already, just in the first 2 picks. With the way picks and bans are going, I would be fairly scared if I was Phoenix. Peter talked about wanting to protect
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Already,
on,
you're looking at a Rek'Sai and Alistar. Alistar may be the best roaming support in the game right now. Very, very scary for mid laners. We'll see if Lustboy can make it happen. There is the Sejuani that we're expecting, and you do kind of force that playstyle a little bit more safe early game onto Dominate. So while they talked about, player tendencies, jungle is such a fickle, role. You have to take into account so many things. Now they're going to be on basically opposite champions from what they stated they really like to do.
Yeah, and I'm interested as well that Bjergsen picked Azir this early. Sometimes you can save your last pick for a mid lane counter, but a lot of people are free to pick Azir very early. It's also a denial pick from Phoenix. Not to mention, they already had a potential top lane counter pick against the Rumble, but they're still saving that last pick for Dyrus' top lane.
With Rumble stolen away, it removes one of his more common pickups.
It's something he's been spamming in solo queue. Like when you watch Dyrus' rise to the top 10 of the NA solo queue ladder, it's pretty much all Rumble and Hecarim games. Hecarim has been banned by Team SoloMid, and Rumble is taken by Team Liquid. I feel like he's going to default back to Gnar. Oh, will we see a Jace though?
Yep.
Jace got so many buffs. I believe we are. Yeah, since we're on 411, Jace got so many buffs. With not having to level his R anymore and getting them automatically, Jace got a lot strong. Basically, his poke does a lot more damage because you can just feed points into the queue earlier, and it maxes out the top end damage after maxing all ranks going up to 6 is a lot higher.
All ranks of Jace's spells go up to 6. His 5th rank in the spell isn't as strong as it used to be, but because you get automatic points in your ultimate when you level up at those breakpoints, as well as the top end being higher. It is definitely buffs, but it takes some time to turn on. Late game power for Jace.
True. Now, all of his spells were not affected the same way either. So some of them got a lot bigger high-end impact, which is the Q mainly.
Yep.
So we'll definitely look for some poke from Team Liquid before they go with the Sejuani Rumble combo. It's definitely, they have so many tools here as far as the team fight goes for Team Liquid. Plenty of AoE to back up Jace poke.
All right, well, the full lineups are in. Team SoloMid with a team fighting composition. They've got the Gnar and the Azir in here, and of course, plenty of engage from the Alistar as well. But Jat, you talked about shoehorning a team into a certain play style. Dominate on the Sejuani now, and he's picked up more team fighting champions with the Rumble and the Annie here. So these teams very much about brawling with a bit of poke in the backside.
Team Liquid definitely wants to team fight, but they have a very real wombo combo setting up. Annie into Shock Blasts, into Equalizers, into Glacial Prisons. It could all be very well and done, whereas you see the TSM side, a somewhat balanced team composition, but both sides, I feel like, have crafted compositions that are capable of engaging fights.
That's always a strong thing for both these lineups. So as the players load themselves into the game, champ select is done. We do have the rest of the swaps coming through. It's all the spots you expect them to be in. Standard TP flash top lanes, and Team Liquid now only playing their 2nd top 5 team of the NA LCS.
Very curious heading into this one too, if they're going to opt for the lane swap, because the Gnar and Rumble is pretty much a draw right there as far as a head-to-head. But Kalista Annie is so ridiculously scary, And Team Liquid have Sejuani, which you would like to have a lane swap if you're the Sejuani player, so you aren't forced into a lot more of those early moves.
So then positive things on both sides. Then we're going to see how the lanes shape up. Let us know how you think the game is going to go. And let us know who you think's going to win. Tweet hashtag TLWin or hashtag TSMWin to @LOL Esports over on Twitter. Let us know who you think's going to win this one. Team Liquid with a chance to take control back of first place. Team SoloMid able to put themselves back on the throne as they sit at 4-2. They're looking for some wins here.
Yeah, and I do want to just keep talking about the dual lane matchup right here because TSM has had a lot of struggles with Wild Turtle and Lust Boys synergy in general. So they need to be able to stay safe wherever they go, whether it's in a 2v2, they don't want to die there, or if it's in a lane swap, they don't want to poke their heads too far in the lane and suffer early casualties then. Wild Turtle in many ways has regressed a bit this split from last split into some old tendencies. We used to always say that Wild Turtle would get caught out of position, that he was unreliable, and then for much of the spring split, he was a reliable late game carry, but that has kind of defaulted back into a guy who gets caught a lot in their losses this year.
Yeah, I think that Piglet and Xpecial are going to do what they can to try and find Turtle and Lustboy in lane in the 2v2. Try and punish Alistar early on, abuse the range advantage, and harass that Callista Annie can get off.
Yeah, remember, until Alistar hits level 2, he just doesn't do anything in the lane. So.
Well,
not anything meaningful. He walks up and pulverizes you. Oh, that's scary. But it's a matchup we've seen abused before. So we'll see if the early levels can go well. Traditionally, engaged supports work well against Annie because she's squishy and can get bursted out. So just things to watch for across these 4 players here in the bottom lane. And it will be the bottom lane. Looks like we'll have the Krugs start for Team Liquid and the Gromp starts for TSM. Corki Alistar, not the best Gromp killers. They will be a bit slow to lane.
Yeah, but at least equalize the level 2 fairly well. Obviously, Callista Annie are gods at killing these Krugs early on in the game as far as dual lane combos go. And they'll, I think, have the early game edge in the lane to he's pushing it.
So we'll see how that dual lane backs up in the future. Right now, Phoenix is going to be up against Bjergsen in the mid lane. These are 2 of the absolute scariest mid laners in the entire league. Bjergsen thought he was stealing away the Azir. Phoenix happy to play Jason this one, and Bjergsen did a great job of hiding behind his minions. First shock flash he's taken all lane, I think.
True enough, but Phoenix does find his mark when he finally does pull the trigger. So, standard lanes already. Piglet and Xpecial trying to zone off and abuse that Alistar early, like we were looking for. He is able to get off a decent amount.
We'll say Xpecial took a good chunk of damage when moving up to trade there. He's going to have to consume his potions, but it does look like Team Liquid will hit level 2 first, which gives them presence in that lane.
Yeah. Also, I like what he did, especially on the Annie. Didn't go for the W charge and fountain to try and get any kind of crazy early level 1 strategy of a stun, but the Q harass versus the melee support matchups really does add up. So he was able to get his stun charge just from spamming Q.
Yeah, and this is interesting, this top lane matchup with Dyrus and Quas. This split has been actually very different for Dyrus than the previous split. He had the lowest percent of his team's damage for a top laner of pretty much any top laner in North American LCS last split, whereas here he's on kind of the higher end, and even a higher percentage of his team's damage than Quas, who has carried his team in many of the games. So a sneaky amount of damage coming out from Dyrus thus far in the summer split.
Yeah, we saw a real change in focus from the TSM management and the TSM analysts after MSI, putting a lot more focus onto Dyrus, as we said, and that investment, has started to pay off. They do not ignore Bjergsen, though, as they do often send support as well as jungle there early. So far, though, having gotten a first back here already on Sejuani with no action, Dominate's fairly happy with the first 4 minutes of the game. Rek'Sai, obviously Santorin is the Rek'Sai player here and hasn't gone for many level 3 ganks, but he hasn't used a level 3 package in a long time. Here comes level 4 though.
Flash knock up on a Phoenix, plenty of damage dealt early on this one. The Flash and Summoner heal burned, so a 2-for-1 Summoner trade. A bit of damage here for TSM.
Pretty much just completely sacrificing his Flash in the mid lane for the lane advantage for Bjergsen. That gank wouldn't have burned anything if Santorin had not decided to burn his Flash. So now his gank presence on other lanes is diminished, but the mid lane will give Bjergsen an edge.
Sounds like Team SoloMid. The joke is that Santorin is Bjergsen's third summoner spell, and well, it's got a 5-minute cooldown here.
I feel like that joke's been around so long, you know, even since Reggie and Odd One were TSM players.
That's true.
But I like it. Delve deep into the past.
Well, we'll see then if a repeat gank comes through. The flashless Jace, and he doesn't have good escape tools on his own anyway. So it could always be scary. We'll see if an outplay ends up happening. We track the top lane matchup, and it's pretty close as well.
Yeah, actually, since we are centered on the mid lane here, we've seen a lot of mid laners trend towards cleanse nowadays. When you're facing junglers like Sejuani that have really, really high impact stuns at level 6, Bjergsen has gone for that barrier. It is fairly versatile, you know, whatever kind of 2v2s or scraps that you do get into, but he won't be able to escape that level 6 all-in Sejuani gank that can be really, really scary if Dominate's able to farm up straight to level 6, which it looks like he's doing a good job of. And, you know, he may be taking into account Santorin's playstyle, opting for the Sejuani and thinking that he can get a pretty easy route to that level 6.
Well, so far, Dominate not been contested. The only thing Team Liquid's lost is a couple of summoner spells. Otherwise, the bot lane going pretty well. Pliglet and Xpecial have eked out the tiniest of CS leads, and Lust Boys reached level 4, though, which means they can turn this around for TSM.
As far as the Sejuani pick making it to level 6 as well, these first 6 minutes of the game have pretty much just been Dominate farming peacefully. Yes, his mid laner did have to flash heal out of it, but as long as that's not punished with a kill or a significant CS discrepancy, that's all good for Team Liquid. This is the type of early game that they want with the jungle Sejuani being picked here.
Yeah, and it's again the way that the whole team plays around the difference in jungle picks. When he is on a more aggressive jungler, they can play more aggressively. But everybody, you know, after having burned his flash, everybody's laying down wards. They had wards up in the river to try and protect Phoenix. Now he needs to play a lot more cautiously, though. No flash, no heal. Luckily, he's on Jace with a tier, and he can try and spam out Qs to get last hits without overextending until, you know, someone comes by to bring more vision help.
One thing that does scare me, though, speaking of vision help, is the Team Liquid dual lane actually playing on top of TSM's turret. They don't have any deep wards to track Rek'Sai, who can just jump a wall and suddenly be behind Annie. And with an Alistar lane, that is definitely, I feel, a risk.
Very, very true.
Yeah, it's a risk, but if we just look at the TSM trends throughout this split, the ganks have been going to either Bjergsen or Dyrus. It's a very rare sight to see a jungler down bottom lane for Team SoloMid, and Team Liquid is kind of preying on that fact. They're just shoved into an Alistar lane fearlessly and not even close to being punished yet.
Plus, it's always scary trying to gank a Kalista Annie lane. They are about to hit level 6, and at that point, it definitely becomes an issue of you have to bring teleports as well into it. Right now, both top laners are level 6. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on the Gnar Rage Bar, as well as the forced recall timings of the top lane. Dominate is hit that level 6.
If they go before Lustboy is level 6, there's a chance they get some kills here. If Lustboy somehow hits level 6, though, this would be tough.
Kalista and Annie both have
Everyone
level 6.
is 6. And I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, Sejuani a little bit too slow. Unable to...
That was anticlimactic, but at least it zones them off.
I mean, his presence alone is going to deny that entire wave. Plus, it looks like they're going for blue buff trades here, as Santorin is on the opposite side of the map. Dominate does not have eyes on him. I think they may have seen him venture into the jungle, though, because he's sticking around for this, going for this smite. Could have been stolen.
Yeah, got down to 11, but I think committing headbutt for that may have been a bit bold. Either way, it does go to Team Liquid, and the bot lane outer turret will go down. Great laning phase from Team Liquid, and the level 6 Sejuani secures it.
And the early game for Team Liquid has been really strong here, being able to withstand the one gank that Santorin pulled out and basically just destroying that bottom lane, sitting at the turret, getting it down. I mean, it's very rare that this early into a game, a 2v2 can just take down a turret of the enemy. Also, Sejuani versus Rek'Sai, the Sejuani team theoretically should be on their back foot, but that really just hasn't been the case. So big time credit for Team Liquid in this early game. In TSM's prior 6 games, they always had the gold lead at the 10-minute mark. It doesn't look like it's going to be the case in this one. 30 seconds to tell.
It really does bring up that point. All the members of Team Liquid were talking about last week. You know, their fairly new analyst, the Warlock, doing a lot of research into player tendencies. And it seems like they've played around the player tendencies of TSM players very well this game. The danger is that, you know, everybody is very aware of these tendencies, and, you know, the mind games of will they continue to do that in the future are very real. So far, though, it really worked out for Team Liquid. They bet on Santorin being mostly farming in the early game, and their bottom lane went extremely aggressive because they felt like there would be no attention down there. All paid off so far for Team Liquid.
As an aside, I can't wait for the day when advanced analytics becomes a normal thing in League of Legends. Just being able to track like which direction a player would dodge for a hook, being able to track what percentage of jungler ganks on a certain champion depending on the game they're in, can be incredibly valuable tools long-term in League of Legends. We're not even close to being there yet. Other sports have been there.
People in the audience with cameras taking pictures of reactions and see if you can get facial tells from players when they're going to go for...
No, okay. My favorite serious example of that actually was Cloud9 versus Samsung Blue at Season 4 Worlds. C9 had such a read on what Samsung always invaded on that they camped one of their own brushes and got like 3 kills in Game 1 and won the game off it.
Yeah.
So there's definitely real examples of that kind of research paying off. I'm glad that teams are getting to that stage of their sort of practice regimen.
Yeah, and as it becomes more and more popular, teams have to always think about trying to use that, you know, use misinformation against other teams. You know, sort of creating a trend only to pop it against maybe the more important matchup that you have coming.
Well, an example of that would have been for Santorin to gank bottom against Kalista NA.
Comes full circle here.
There we go.
Has not happened though, and Team Liquid very happy with their objective lead. Looks like they're going to try and press it here with bottom turret down. Some early work done on this dragon, and Kalista there to secure it.
But honestly, I just got to say, props to Team Liquid here. Their bot lane is winning. They're continuing playing through their bot lane. They've got a Rended Dragon right now. Oh, it's a nice little play, but Lustboy level 6 is going to get stunned up, engaged upon. Here comes the teleports. TSM going to join the fray first. Quas going to be a little bit later. Lustboy, his ult's going to time out right now, and he's not far away from getting killed. A whiffed Sejuani will throw in Quas. Going to pop the equalizer to buy a little bit more time. TSM are able to run back to their base if they want to, and Special flashes in, lands the 2-man timbers. He finds the kill on to Wild Turtle. Santorin barely slinks away, but Phoenix is in the mix. But here comes Bjergsen, the savior of TSM. He's going to flash over his divide. He gets the kill onto Phoenix, but the battle is continuing as Piglet is not done here. Jumped right on top of Dyrus, trying to kite away. I don't even know who's supposed to win this fight, but right now it's a 1-for-1.
Wow, we waited 12 minutes for that fight. I'd say worth. That was incredibly exciting, but only one person going down on each side. It could have gone a lot worse for Team SoloMid. Team Liquid had pretty much winning the entire early game. They get what was pretty much an uncontested dragon, and then a beautiful amount of damage from the equalizer plus X Specials Tibbers. The fact that that is only 1-for-1 and TSM doesn't even suffer an objective loss after the beginning of that fight is a blessing.
Whew. All right, so Dragon number 1 a little bit late for Team Liquid as far as stacking up 5, but they did secure it before this entire thing went off. The reason it took so long is because Alistar Ultimate. Lustboy is able to soak damage for so long and buy time for the rest of the team. Quas teleports in, Lustboy didn't expect him there.
It created this weird thing. Quas gets down a great equalizer plus Flame Spitter, and I was waiting for the X Special flash. He flashes, then walks a little bit to get the double stun. Beautiful first kill right there, but a lot of their cooldowns had been expended at that point, so the follow was a little bit dangerous. Really nice timing by Bjergsen to go in at that exact moment, and then he also Emperor's Divides right into a wall itself, really splitting the fight, making the follow difficult. This Piglet flash at the end was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, man, I thought Turtle maybe would use his flash a bit earlier.
No
ultimate left. Special jump. Bam. Can they get another? Dyrus gonna hop. Doesn't get the double hop, doesn't matter.
Team Liquid just feels like they are in absolute control. TSM really hasn't done any type of initiation move this game. There was one gank in the mid lane that burned Phoenix's summoner spells. Other than that, they've been completely reactionary, and Team Liquid is making the right aggressive moves.
Oh, very impressive stuff then. They survived the first 7 minutes of the game, and then pretty much on cooldown, I Will Dominate shows up somewhere and says, hey, give me control of this map. And TSM obliges. It's a 2,000 gold lead for Team Liquid. They've knocked 2 turrets down to 0. They've got the only dragon on the map as well. It's so far looking great for the blue team.
Interesting little camp set up here by TSM on top of a pink ward, looking to come in from the side of this mid lane, just below your screen. Haha, surprise. They've got all the damage there, but they're going to need some CC to land. They're looking for Phoenix to get in range of Lustboy combo, but He's not going to do it, and Lustboy without flash, no surprising play that he can pull off. TSM bide their time, but gain nothing from it.
And it really feels like Wild Turtle's going to fall further and further behind. That was a wave of minions that he basically forfeit in the bottom lane to make that play. It would have been very dangerous for him to go down there because they've already lost their turret. And with Bjergsen on the team, Wild Turtle's not going to... I thought he wasn't going to be getting any CS in the mid lane. Bjergsen going to take the cannon right there. Obviously, Bjergsen have a big lead on Phoenix, but it's matched there by Piglet's lead over Wild Turtle.
And so Team Liquid continuing to scale up here, and with a really strong team fight-based comp. You mentioned the Wombo combo potential.
Oh yes.
The ultis are available, but there's just not much to fight for as TSM have the wave clear to make sieging impractical. It's so far been around neutral objectives, a blue buff steal here or there, and the dragon when it respawns. Otherwise, Team Liquid happy to take their time. Santorin, nice attempted steal. Phoenix gets the blue buff pretty safely, and he's still scaling up on that Manamune. It's right now at 355 of 750, so still maybe 5 minutes away from fully stacking that.
Right, and he is almost level 11 there for Phoenix. That's where he can get his level 6 into the queue for the maximum shockwave possible, or shock blast.
Yeah, and he's already clearing the back wave with one shot. So it's, yes, he has a CS disadvantage to Bjergsen right here, but no, it's not really going to mean Bjergsen gets a turret because with the blue buff plus the Muramana, it's easy wave clear from here on out for Phoenix.
And those are all good signs for Team Liquid then, as they have all the tools to stymie aggression.
Things are going fantastically for Team Liquid this game.
All right, so next order of business for Team Liquid then, since it's going so well, is to get up that ring of vision wards. Just outside the jungle, there's one turret left. Ah, there we go. Started already. If they can start controlling the vision game, TSM have to respect an Annie that not only has flash, but also a Kalista to throw her. If that Annie starts things off, you hold people in place for an easy ultimate from Sejuani, a Rumble ultimate. There's just so much that they can pile on. If vision is controlled, TSM have very limited options.
Second early smite we've seen from Dominate, leaving something at 10 health. Hopefully not a sign of things to come for a future Baron fight, but either way, Scuttler is controlled right on time for the Dragon. TSM, though, able to slink into the jungle and clear some of these wards away, so both teams aware that this Dragon in 30 seconds is the objective they want control over. Deep wards, a bit for both sides.
And I really actually like what Quas is doing here. Picked up the blasting wand instead of trying to wait around for a needlessly large rod or some other item in preparation for this Dragon. 10 seconds left on it. They've got teleport. He's been able to spend his cash. TSM not quite able to make the press in to take down the turret.
Yeah, even though Lustboy has healing, that's not going to save Bjergsen in time for this next Dragon fight. Team Liquid landing the right bits of poke and now potentially able to force the right fights. Quas is pushed in a little bit, but he has that temporary power from the blasting wand. This could be a very telling fight for the rest of the game. Team Liquid already with the upper hand, trying to get a stronghold on the lead here.
What they're doing as well, Kalista with the early lifesteal is able to start up the Dragon while Jungler clears wards. Got plenty of rent
secure even, if they time it right.
There you go, good Ren. Dominate though getting locked up. Santorin and Lustboy doing plenty of damage, but Lustboy pops ult. He's not going to get hurt much here. Quas has teleported in. The equalizer could be very sound, special to put a little bit of lockdown, but now he's caught out by himself. The engage not very useful. Wild Turtle gets stunned up. In comes Phoenix, but knocked back out by Lustboy. Quas still picks up 2, and the battle continues with Santorin, Dyrus, and Bjergsen all just piling down 2 for 2.
The terrain that these fights are taking place around makes for very, very awkward commitments from the teams because everybody flashing in and out of the pit here ends up being the 2 versus 2. Yes, the Dragon number 2 did go to Team Liquid, but they did lose control of the map as well. So the turret finally goes down and TSM gets some global gold for themselves.
Yeah, we are seeing some really crazy fights. This one was heavily dictated by the teleports themselves. Quas did a lot of work with his teleport, but Dyrus may have even done more with his. He zoned out the majority of Team Liquid in this fight to make it a 2 for 2 because Team Liquid did have the upper hand, I feel like, coming into this one. Again, it's a fight that starts out with Lustboy just being a wall that Team Liquid can't go through. Notice Dominate couldn't land his ultimate because it's basically just going to hit the tank. Right as Piglet would have wanted to rend, he has to respect Dyrus from the back with the flash ultimate. But then, watch Quas.
Great Rumble ultimate. Also, the Sejuani stunned him. Perfect time for the Rumble ultimate there. right on top of it. He was burning. And especially starting it off by failing that flash over the Dragon Pit. Definitely, that was the wrong foot for him as well.
Yeah, but as it all pans out, we get ourselves back to a very close game. Team SoloMid, as we saw, knocked down the outer turret in the aftermath there, brought the gold within 1,000 here. As Team Liquid have the ability to have bonus attack damage and ability power. They kill turrets a little bit faster as well. Maybe future sieges go well. But right now, SoloMid equal the mid lane. Bot lane actually going slightly Team Liquid's way as that one's being pushed in by Piglet. So map control to me is the thing to watch for.
So Quas was actually trying to rush a Void Staff, it looks like, with his early Blasting Wand. Since Quas has stacked so much magic resist, or Dyrus has stacked so much magic resist, he wants to cut through it early. All 4 kills, by the way, onto Quas. So their power is definitely focused onto that Rumble. And the importance of landing a good Rumble ultimate is even emphasized more so. So he has all the cash.
Yeah. So while Dyrus has nearly equalized the gold here, this is actually the first game this split that TSM has managed to...
Oh, you didn't even do that on purpose. Okay.
Oh, what did I say?
Nothing.
All right. We'll figure it out later.
We're going to move on. This is the first game this split. TSM has not had a gold lead at either 10 or 20 minutes here. Yep. We talk about Team Liquid having a great early game play. Despite the shoehorn Sejuani, this is blue skies for these guys.
And the strengths and weaknesses of the teams as well throughout the mid and late game. Team Liquid has shown a strong affinity to close games when they've had a lead, whereas Team SoloMid, despite having leads, have still fallen down on 2 losses. So if we take all that into account, it would seem like Team Liquid has a big chance of winning this game. Of course, they're going to have to eventually cut through Bjergsen's Azir, which is now death capped up 21.5 minutes in.
Yes, he is. Thought you were making a corny equalizer joke, Freak.
Oh, yeah, I understood afterwards when I realized it said equalize and there's a rumble on the other side.
Well, let's see what TSM could do. Because as you said, not too far behind. Dragon stacking right now doesn't mean a whole lot for the team. And as close as the team fights have been, TSM can easily turn this game around.
I'm actually surprised that the Void Staff was such an early pickup for Quas, but I guess it's specifically for his Gnar matchup.
Yeah.
He's the only real magic damage dealer. You'd normally see the flat pen focused build.
And even so, I feel like...
Well, it's not like he doesn't have the flat pen, too.
That's true. Well, I guess Leandry's, rather. The 2,300 gold detour for Void Staff.
Or the early Zhonya's either, for like a very aggressive play, because Quas loves to get himself in really dangerous situations.
Yeah.
Just to pull off the Flame Spitter Zhonya's combo. I can understand... with a lot of the split push focus that's going on right before Dragon fights, he needs to have pressure on Dyrus, so Dyrus can't teleport in full health for these fights.
It's interesting contrasting Dyrus' build with Zion Spartans we saw just last game, where Zion, in the exact same matchup, went Hexdrinker into
Black Cleaver
for the 1v1 power, for the damage. Dyrus is going straight to tank after that one, so different goals for the teams, different goals for the players. It's fun to see adaptations, though. It's always fun to me.
Yeah, I think Dyrus' call to go almost full tank, or basically full tank after Hexdrinker is really good, because the way that they win is him or Lustboy tanking the brunt of the AoE initiation, the AoE stuns that are coming out. They have to have Lustboy or Dyrus solo tank one of those, and that is what they're hoping for to win a team fight. If one of those 2 frontliners is not able to take the Sejuani ultimate and shield the rest of the team, Bjergsen and Turtle are going to melt really, really quickly.
Well, we'll see if they're going to melt under the weight of Rumble damage. Team Liquid, pressure lead to the bot lane, equalized mid lane, Dragons up in 30 seconds. Looking at vision, we do have 4 wards in that blue buff jungle that Team Liquid has placed. TSM have 3 on that mirrored side in the southern jungle, so both ready with a bit of vision.
Speaking of the Dragon fight, Bjergsen
there it is.
Cannot afford
no
this type of poke. Burns both his summoners and is low health, but the Sejuani ultimate is spent. 10 seconds coming into this Dragon fight. I still feel like that's advantage Team Liquid because Bjergsen needs to be involved in this game. He's the only one with significant damage right now since Turtle's behind and Dyrus is going tank build.
Plus, they went for that move before the Dragon spawned, so forcing Bjergsen back, they have control once again for the Dragon, almost on cooldown. Team Liquid, another great objective-based aggressive play here. They don't randomly go for these mid lane ganks. Let's see if it pays off though. Bjergsen's walking his way over right now.
Double teleports come in as well. The smite does come early from Dominate as before. 4, and Santorin gets the Dragon pickup. Piglet was not in range to Ren. Now Quas TP's in. Plenty of damage into Bjergsen, but he still goes down for that one. The mid laner will get equalized as Xpecial takes the kill credit. A 4 versus 4. Dominate chunked low. No ulti for 30 seconds.
TSM lost Ren presence on the Dragon when Piglet peeled off to the fight, but Dominate stayed on, which made the 50-50 smite war, so a miscommunication between Dominate and Piglet, and
why even be there? Gnar goes massive. He's going to pick up maybe 1 or 2, but Piglet has turned it back around, buys time. It's still the 1 kill for free onto Xpecial. Team Liquid running away. Phoenix actually snipes Lustboy on the backside of it, so another 2 for 2, but this time Dragon went to Team SoloMid.
Phoenix up in his tower here. He's constantly had the higher ground as well, and he's been very, very accurate with his with that Jace pick and the Shock Blast. Man, I really thought the bottom combo there was going to actually turn around on Piglet, but they respect the Rend, trying to save Lustboy, and both of them get out of Rend range. Does die in the end, so weren't able to save him.
This is turning into a really close game as well. That Dragon going the way.
Daring the 1 versus 1 here. Well, it's going to be 2 versus 1, so he backs off.
Yeah. Piglet's not that crazy.
Wait a second. 1 person in that bush. I'm fine farming here. 2 people. All right, that bush is too crowded.
Still got the CS.
Yep. All's fair. All is safe. This game now within 600. This lead barely exists at all, and TSM actually maybe to take their first lead of the game with this turret kill. Things starting to look a little bit better in their mid game.
That smite steal was so important for TSM. Not only getting the 6% right now in the mid game, 26 minutes in is when you really want that single dragon buff for the extra power, but also denying move speed for Team Liquid, very important in reducing the ability for them to pull off an AoE combo. They really have to work with that precision flash anti-tibbers, and less move speed means it's going to be harder for them to get into position. See here though, vision control around Baron definitely does help them setting it up.
Yeah, and right now TSM has to respect the fact that Team Liquid have shown up. Problem is teleports being down means splitting your top laners up is unlikely. You can see Dyrus stuck in mid, as is Quas here. Alien Outer will go down off the recall from Bjergsen. He just picked up his blue buff but had to leave the map otherwise. Team Liquid put themselves back in this slight lead. Dyrus actually has 1,500 gold in inventory right now. He's the only guy with a ton of money still to spend, but he might need to recall TP list before this next fight.
Yeah, well, unless the Baron is itself being forced, there's not many other objectives that are really being contested right now. So unless Dyrus is saving up for like a BF sword, I don't see any reason for him to be out on the map right now. He should have gone back about 10 seconds ago so he could have an item and defend this inner turret.
He's got the exact amount of money required to finish Banshee's Veil, and staying around is always a bit scary.
He is getting several boomerang hits onto Xpecial though, and chipping down that Annie early is a really good sign for TSM. If they can try and get one of their frontliners in her face, one of the biggest counters to Annie is having a pure tank right at the front and trying to deny her position to get her flash stun off. Right now though, he's just playing games. Video games.
Everyone's playing video games.
I'm not. I'm watching them.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
All right, let's see.
Oh! Lustboy misses the headbutt pulverized. Now Dominate has a chance to land the stuns, but doesn't go for the tanks. He turns it. No, only hits Lustboy though. That's not the target he wanted. Dominate's gonna die for that problem. Now, is there going to be a re-engage for Team Liquid? They're getting chunked out. Xpecial gets dropped by Bjergsen. The fight continues. Quas kills off the TSM mid laner. Loses life for it. It's a 3-for-1 in this fight. Wild Turtle on the chase, true to his name, but has to respect Piglet's damage.
That is exactly what TSM wanted. As I said, Lustboy gets the face tank, the Sejuani ultimate. He doesn't care at all. Pop his ultimate. He's in the middle of the fray, and TSM really, I guess that was a counter engage from TSM.
Because basically everyone on Team Liquid tried to kill Bjergsen, but no one was synced up because of the phase tank ult from Lustboy. The damage couldn't follow through. Bjergsen ended up getting off a truckload worth of damage before he eventually fell, and that's why TSM won that fight.
The ultimate bodyguard, Alistar.
Missed the combo, still do work on the fight.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Doesn't matter. You can miss your combo as long as you stand in front and take the hits.
Yeah.
All right.
Add that to the Jace poke. Like, everything needs to go through something in order to hit a priority target. So CX special flashed in, but Lustboy walks into just the right spot to tank the ultimate. And yes, the equalizer's in a good spot, but once again, not on the main damage dealer. And now watch Bjergsen Sand Soldier in that fight. 2 full auto attacks off after it's placed, and then a bunch of damage on Quas.
Also, if we're splitting hairs here, Dominate did go with a flash ultimate instead of ult flash.
That's a worthy hair splitter.
Lustboy barely got his hoof in front. Woo. Very close team fight there. TSM come out with the victory and able to increase their lead. Let's see if they can get anything else off it. 1 turret taken down in the mid lane. The first of those secondary turrets from either team. Game still really close.
Ooh.
Game of the week definitely delivering.
Yeah, again, the poke onto Bjergsen. That's 1 shock blast from Phoenix. And the sustain from Lustboy's Alistair, no way that can actually...
Well, it's now a half-health mid laner. It's the star performer of Team SoloMid. Maybe that gives Team Liquid some room to play because Dragons respawned.
Yeah, Team Liquid knows a lot went wrong in the last fight, specifically the Sejuani ultimate. So if they can land a decent amount of poke with Jace, even though they lost the last fight, they can still see an advantage coming up. Dragon 3 for them if they're able to secure this one, but a flank coming from Dyrus. An incredibly pivotal moment in the game about to unfold.
Well, Ren kills off the Rift Scuttle. That's a nice thing for Team Liquid. They can watch with the flanks.
Look at this, TSM, they set up the outpost of the Azir turret in the middle of the map and then transition up to Baron to start clearing vision. So Team Liquid have to respect the Baron threat here, and nobody is pulled towards the Dragon.
Azir kills Baron so fast. Kalista is known for her Baron securing ability, but Azir will soon be known for his Baron killing ability. When he's auto-attacking with multiple soldiers on that thing, it just drops.
Phoenix, the sniper. Again, from the high ground, able to land another shot.
Yeah, it's definitely a one-sided advantage here. Team Liquid have much better poke than Team SoloMid, and this sort of nebulous mid-long range stare down is slowly going Team Liquid's way. A bit of healing, but maybe not enough. Lustboy goes in pretty hard.
I mean, there's a chance this starts like the last fight did, is with a missed cooldown from one team, which creates an opening for the fight to start. No one wants to start a fight on even footing. And here's that Baron killing ability. Bjergsen takes a lot of damage here.
This is, yeah, a pretty big risk. Banner of Command had pushed the top lane in all the way, and Team Liquid only now responded to it with Quas, but they got some turret pressure, and they allowed Gnar to push the bot lane as well. Banner earns a turret.
1 turret down, Quas working, or Dyrus working on that bottom one, got it to half life before he has to retreat because they do not have substantial vision coverage in the red side of the Team Liquid jungle. Most of their wards are concentrated up by Baron.
And everyone got to recall and buy some new items. Team SoloMid now sitting 3,000 gold ahead. Dragons or not, the turret pushing from the Banner of Command and just generally good play by TSM puts them at 5 turrets to 3, 8 kills to 7.
Really interesting buy there by Bjergsen. He's bought Spell Vamp so he can sustain after getting hit by Phoenix Bow. Wow. 1 too many Shock Blasts will make him do that. He doesn't get, he's delaying his Zhonya's to do that. We'll have to see if he gets caught in a fight and the Zhonya's comes back to bite him.
Plus, the Spell Vamp that you get from that on Azir takes a long time to get back to full life from just one of those Shock Blast landings. So he's going to have to rely also on the Lustboy heals.
3 waves worth of healing.
Yeah, fairly difficult to try and gain all of that life back, but he's tired of going back to base. So no, I mean, so I guess the other option he could have go for was invest in home guards and try and cut down on the time that he has to walk back. But right now, yeah, see, there's nothing for him to spell vamp off of either. So even though he has it, that Shock Blast, it gives Team Liquid control in mid lane. They transition down to Dragon, looking for the number 3 Dragon here.
Well, they're going to go for the 2-man. The Ren should be enough for Piglet. Gets it!
It was at 65 life there.
He had another attack in the air. So the second hit of Ren got it. But yeah, Piglet slightly misjudged the damage. Team Liquid just keeps having these 50 health jungle monsters at the end of their executes. That one did go through though. 3 Dragons to 1. Team Liquid, good sneak on that. Their mid lane poke earned them a lot of room. And we're back now to the waiting game where Baron's the only easily reached objective. Banner of Command is available. Lustboy can break the siege with that and push a lane down. Right now, that's Darius' job in the bot lane.
I feel like Darius' job has now transitioned into you need to make a godlike teleport flank, because this Jace poke, even though it's only Jace, is taking its toll. Phoenix constantly finding Bjergsen, landing headshots, and forcing objectives off of it. 3 in a row. Well, not in a row, but Darius, he could change all this with a good teleport flank. The hard initiation is what they need.
Well, another thing Darius is doing is just creating a lot of split push pressure. Like, yes, there's teleport threat from both people, but Darius, ADCS advantage, big time lead. Lustboy, again, a missed pulverize. Team Liquid trying to get a fight.
They tried to build a flank on there. They had Bjergsen coming from the side, but Lustboy goes down to 10% HP, and they burn Darius' teleport
that
for
really
it. Plus, can easily just walk over.
One less flank option for TSM. Now they really have to respect the Flash Tibbers again from Xpecial. Again, this is a Kalista-assisted Flash Tibbers. So very, very difficult to work around, especially if Nara is out of rage. TSM once again retreat. And the tension mounts where this game is so ridiculously close.
Red team's turn.
The vision control is paramount because of the importance of the next team fight.
Well, I'm going to take a look at the vision one more time. TSM looking decent in their vision. They've got the entire bottom left side of the map covered up, while Team Liquid don't have anything to answer that. It's actually a vision lead won by TSM so far. They can track Team Liquid very easily.
Yeah. Quas is also closing in on Zhonya's hourglass. He's sitting on 2,086 gold right now. If he completes that, it's huge in these fights. It sounds like a broken record with every TSM game, but a lot of this will be about Bjergsen in the team fights, because if Team Liquid can kill him right away, I don't see a window where TSM wins the team fight. And he doesn't have Zhonya's, he doesn't have QSS, he doesn't have Cleanse, and there's no Mikhails. So a nice stun onto Bjergsen could mean everything.
Definitely true. Turtle did just pick up a Quicksilver for himself, so Turtle, one threat that will be able to cleanse. Here comes the forced fight though, teleport in.
And here we go. Hard engage, they stun Xpecial. Bjergsen's gonna go down first. That's a 1-for-0. Lustboy, the easy chase. Santorin also in the fire. Double kill somehow for Xpecial. With a bunch of other damage deals on the team, the support and he gets 2 of them. Wild Turtle forced to run away. Team Liquid go back for Baron.
Why so many mid laners are taking cleanse nowadays? One mistake from Bjergsen and they crumble is what Dominate said in the video before the game. That's definitely going to be Baron for them.
What a nice combo by Team Liquid. Basically just letting Bjergsen burn. One stun into an equalizer, into an ultimate from Zizwani. Everything focused on him. That's all they needed. Baron for Team Liquid.
And with a Jace, how good is this siege? Team Liquid have all the tools to pull a gigantic lead. We can watch that fight again.
All right. Also note how Darius' teleport was down from before, and they started this Baron while he was bottom lane, which forces this face check to begin with. Beautiful chaining of CC.
Yeah, barrier will not save you from that sort of combo. Goes down, and it's an easy cleanup for Team Liquid. Let's see what they do with this Baron-empowered siege that they have. As you mentioned, Jace is massive right now.
I really question Lustboy not having a Mikhail's Crucible at this point in the game. It's important to get an Aegis, but you can build the Locket on the Rek'Sai and have a Mikhail's on the Alistair, especially when the priority on Bjergsen right here is to not let him get completely wombo combo.
Some sort of cleanse in any coming from anywhere would be great for TSM. Whenever you're facing a wombo like that, you gotta have something to break it.
This game.
You need a combo breaker.
That's true.
Well, good killer instinct from you here, but right now Team SoloMid have to try to keep their base alive. Lustboy stunned up again. None of the poke lands, so he'll be safe for now. Team SoloMid so far okay to wave clear. It's worth pointing out, by the way, gold is actually still identical. With all the extra turrets that TSM had killed through the Banner of Command that it did invest into, it did give some gold. So it's actually a 800 gold lead for TSM. That's now gone with this turret going down.
Now it's
their fourth. Oh! Nearly killing Wild Turtle, pushing around Santorin, doing damage to Darius as well. SoloMid have to play back for the next 2 minutes.
Ooh. Yeah, Flash is still down in Xpecial. The distortion boots aside, he needs a little bit more for the Flash engage. Or they can try and Kalista ult in. Bjergsen would almost have to flash away reactively because he didn't actually get to use it last fight since he got instantly CC chained.
A lot of pressure on Lustboy's shoulders here. Yeah, be on the front line, take the hit, and not mess up the Ali combo.
There's that banner minion, though.
Yep. Looking
Trade
for
for
an
the
inhibitor
McHales.
turret. All of Team Liquid happy to stay in
That's
top.
Lustboy right there.
Yeah,
Lustboy's doing great things.
Looks like it's not going to die on this one, though.
Good job, Lustboy Jr.
So yeah, built some wave pressure, but didn't really build any meaningful advantage in the map. Just the one turret so far is his mark so far for that item. Lustboy's also going towards what looks like Talisman of Ascension Rush, not...
Yeah, McHale's nowhere near. So the CC chain threat will be a threat for probably the rest of this game unless Bjergsen sells an item to get a QSS.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that spell vamp. I see what he was thinking with it. All right, well, let's take a look at this dragon here, though.
This is trying to trade for a mid lane push, but it's a dangerous move here by Team SoloMid. They have a turret behind them, no real way of breaking the siege.
Yep. Oh, they might catch Piglet, though. Preemptive flash, a good set of harpoons by Quasnick Special. He wants in. They look for Santorin. They find Lustboy as well. A whole bunch of burst, but can they get the rest of it done? Dyrus locked up a bit. Dominic gets the kill onto Lustboy. It's a 5 versus 4. Santorin gonna get hit up, but Bjergsen finds one. Phoenix at the front lines, but look at the damage coming out from everyone at TSM. Piglet's the last man alive out of nowhere. He's got nothing to do, and the cleanup crew happens. TSM wins the fight.
Lustboy soaked another giant stun. X-Special was only able to find Alistar, and with Bjergsen around the back, he was able to cut him off.
Yep, Bjergsen bided his time, did not get caught by any of the major CC. Dyrus got a beautiful Gnar ultimate, and the close from TSM was right there. Maybe they win off that fight.
I think they do, chat. 25 seconds on most of the major respawns. They've got a wave right there thanks to all the pressure TSM already had, and would you believe it, from behind, Team SoloMid will actually do it. They'll knock down Team Liquid, they'll improve to 5-2, drag them down with them in TSM. They're gonna end Saturday in second place.
What a game that was. 41 minutes right there. TSM only getting the kill lead at the very end. Back and forth from the start.
What a fun game when so much turns on a single team fight. Whew, and TSM were able to pull it off. You really have to be careful when you do have a team comp that relies on comboing all the ultimates so precisely. One misstep there is really, really going to cost you, especially if you give away the Alistar pick. This is why it's so heavily prized all across the world.
We really need to get a replay of that last team fight to see it again, because game-changing and game-deciding doesn't even begin to describe it.
I think that's a good start, actually. I would say that's a pretty good start.
Game-changing, game-defining begins to describe it. You can see Team Liquid still recovering from that one. It felt like they had the game in their hands. 4 dragons, and in the collapse back from that 4th dragon is when TSM found the fight.
Whole game definitely delivered.
Yeah.
I was definitely satisfied with that game of the week.
And speaking of delivering, Bjergsen, okay, he got caught out once or twice, 3 deaths in the game, but 16,000 gold, 380 minions, highest in the game. Damage dealt's gotta be massive for him as well. I mean, he was the cleanup crew of that last fight. The guy absolutely collapsed in the back line. He was the one engaged in the very end. It was the pressure onto Lustboy, onto Santorin, maybe even onto Dyrus. And all the CC gets used on the non-major carries. In comes Bjergsen from the back line, hardcore dive, sweeps in and clears everyone out.
Alistar, the premier combo breaker in the league.
Yep. Yep.
Does it multiple times.
Yeah, so absolutely impressive then. Team Liquid.
Yeah, that moves TSM to 5-2, Team Liquid to 5-2.
Yeah.
Right? Team Liquid hadn't really had any quality wins against the top teams in the LCS, and they were in position to get at this game. Like, they're clearly on the same level, if not a better level than TSM, but those team fights down the stretch just fell right into TSM's hands.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, go ahead. Okay, yeah, so Team Liquid have played 2 top 5 teams. Gravity and Team SoloMid lost both. They've beaten everyone 6 on down. Those are their 5 wins, but Team Liquid, in these very close battles, have not been able to close them out, have not been able to, in the Gravity game, get the early game lead they wanted, or in the TSM game, close the game out in the way they wanted. Even though we see these glimmers of greatness, it's a rough season to be a part of for Team Liquid fans, but either way, they will end themselves in second place today. Not exactly bad to be 5-2. We'll see how the rest of their season shapes up. But for now, going to send it down to Dash and TSM's jungler.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am here stage side with Santorin after a nail-biter of a game there. Back and forth, back and forth. So first off, in such a close victory, how does it feel to come out on top against a 5-1 Team Liquid coming into it?
So first of all, like, we didn't play optimal, so this win doesn't really feel like a win to us because we feel like we should have played so much better. We didn't execute what we should have done. So we gave 3 drakes away. We didn't play around objectives that we should have, but like, we're still really happy we won.
Yeah, and you know, a big focal point of this matchup was the jungler matchup coming in. Peter, very vocal about Dominate being the best jungler in the league, but both coaches being vocal about how different your play styles are. So how did you feel, you know, your play styles went up against each other here head to head?
So I feel like they first of all banned some aggressive jungles like Nilly, and that just shows that they want to play more like snowball champion, like scaling champion, like Nuno or Sajoani. I was expecting a Nuno pick there, and so I was like, from the start they banned Nilly, I was like, okay, they're gonna play Nuno here, but they took Sajoani, which is also a scaling champion, whereas I was playing more Rix and more early orientated, but because they played a more like scaling way to win, therefore I couldn't really get the early ganks that I wanted because they were playing so passive. Like, we ganked Jace, burned Summoners, but he played under tower, so I couldn't gank him. So I felt like the way they played, it was actually smart from their point of view because they were scaling. Like, we were not making that many plays early game as we should have.
Now, looking at that mid lane matchup, as you said, you paid a little bit of attention there. Dominate has been vocal and has said that he believes one of the biggest weaknesses for TSM is that they're so mid lane focused. That's an area that they can attack, and if you can shut down Bjergsen, or if Bjergsen makes one mistake, that's it for your team. So how do you guys adjust to the notion that that's where teams are going to look to shut you guys down?
I mean, in this game, they didn't really go to shut down Bjergsen. They played a more scaling champion. I felt like if they want to shut down Bjergsen, they should take the aggressive jungler. So I feel like they're not really playing to what they're saying. But I also agree that Bjergsen is a really, really strong carry. And I feel like it's not really a weakness because he's like always going to show up and he's always going to be there. But the rest of the team is not like, okay, he's just going to carry us. We're also going to help you.
Yeah, happy to have that weakness if my weakness is Bjergsen in the mid lane. You know, final question here. Looking at tomorrow, you guys are going up against Gravity. And again, to touch on this, theme of jungler matchups, you've got Move, a new addition to the LCS. What's your opinion been of him so far, in his addition and his evolution in the LCS so far?
I mean, since Move joined the team, I feel like he had great success. He had got the MVP, and he's playing the more like aggressive jungle, whereas Dominate's playing a bit more passive. So I'm really looking forward tomorrow to play against an aggressive jungler.
All right, well, best of luck to you in tomorrow's match. Again, congratulations on the victory today, as hard-fought as it was. That's going to do it for us here on the side stage. We are going to toss it to Zyrene to break down some of the action from that game.
Thank you very much, Dash. And that was a really exciting game. Back and forth. I was backstage. I'm like, which play do I really want to do a telestrator on? And I had to go 40 minutes into the game. The final fight here from TSM and Team Liquid. We're going to pull it up on your screen here because this ends up being a clean ace here. This is Piglet retreating from doing the dragon. Dyrus has been chasing him this entire time. Since they picked up that 4th dragon, he was always hounding them right there in the back line. And what's going to happen here is Piglet goes down, the rest of the team comes up into them, and as we roll this clip out, you're just going to see how the team fight goes. Flash away from Piglet, Santorin commits, X-Special. That's where he pops his Righteous Glory to try and get in the back line, and that equalizer there, if it had been just up a little bit further, it would have hit more people. Santorin kiting out of the fight, and now Bjergsen joins the back line. Lustboy, he's soaked as much as he can, and that is the goal of the Alistar in this fight, but Bjergsen to the back line there. Doesn't actually have to Zhonya's there. Phoenix is using the Q over to get back to him. It's just going to knock him back. But then, immediate cleanup crew there. The fact that Bjergsen got the backline access as an Azir, who has so much gold on him, and that Quas missed his equalizer on primary targets with the most of the team gold on him, showed that when you place gold on these carries, they have to deliver with mechanics in team fights, or they end up this way for Team Liquid. So that 40-minute fight there really was just what broke the game. It was even up until that point, but keep it tuned right here because we'll be right back with our next match, which is Gravity versus Team 8, and you're watching North American LCS.
Now I really want you to hear my suffering when I die top lane.
Oh yeah. I was like, is this loud enough? Is this?
Oh, I'm dead. Hello, team.
2 wild turtles. Santorin barely slinks away, but Phoenix is in the mix. But here comes Bjergsen, the savior of TSM. The engage not very useful. Wild turtle gets stunned up. In comes Phoenix, but knocked back out by Lustboy. Quas still picks up 2.
I'm okay.
Look at Setchu.
I'm coming back in.
I'm taking it.
Look at Annie. I'm on Annie.
I'm really low.
I gotta go out.
Rumble.
He's stunned.
Nice.
This is a stunning special. Bjergsen's gonna go down first. That's a 1-for-0 Lustboy, the easy chase. Santorin also in the fire. Double kill from everyone at TSM. Piglet's the last man alive out of nowhere. He's got nothing to do, and the cleanup crew happens. And would you believe it? From behind, Team SoloMid will actually knock down Team Liquid.